Hey, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man. Today is a great day. I got a text message on yesterday from not a student, but a YouTube subscriber of mine. He's done what I encourage a lot of people to do, especially when they call me and want me to offer the coaching and training for free. I encourage them to go through the 200 plus videos. So I have my man out of California. So yes, you can wholesale in California. um, Chris Gomez. He's in the Apple Valley area. That's where you're located, Chris?
Riverside.
Riverside. Okay. All right. How far? What you said that house far from Los Angeles?
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
Okay, 45 minutes. Okay, but he's going to tell his story and how he got to this point and picked up a really nice payday. I guess on yesterday. $21,500, and he's gonna go through what he did. I'm just gonna sit here and listen and ask a few questions. It made my day. Anytime someone sends me a picture of a payday, it always makes my day. Obviously, I would have liked that check myself, but the next best thing was just putting a smile on my face and convinced him. I asked him would he be interested in sharing his stories, maybe to help others, and he said okay. So, but before we get into that, just do a little house cleaning here. Um, Remember, actually, I don't have this anymore, so we'll go past that. But I have the apartments. You can go to apartments for sale.net. That's APTS, apartments abbreviated, apartments for sale.net. And you can see the property that I have available there now. But don't forget about the actual 200 videos Chris used to do his first deal, $21,500. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on the notifications. If you want a free copy of the actual contract, Chris used. Am I right, Chris?
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one. He used it. Text the word contract to 313131. Contract to 313131. Don't text me. Text to that number. No area code is needed. Treated those 6 numbers as a phone number, so you can get a copy of that contract. He used it in the state of California. All right. You can also obviously follow me on Instagram, flipman.net. Follow me on Twitter, the Flipman. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, turn on the notifications. If you want me to come to your city and train you, that option is available. It's a price ticket on it compared to the online option, but people want it, I'll make it available. Again, if you want to get into the commercial side of the business, flipthisbuilding.com, low competition. You can do it from your laptop. So that's virtually. Sea of opportunity because the entire country is your playground. No cash or credit needed. Big fat paydays. Um, where are we here? Privatemoneylist.net. That's privatemoneylist.net. 400 private money lenders. The name speaks for itself. And then, of course, we have realpof.com. If you need proof of funds, you're going to deal with real estate agents. The only way they're going to take your serious brokers if you have proof of funds. So let's get into why you're here, which let me make sure that we are sharing the full screen here. Okay. All right. So Chris is, as you said, he's from Riverside, California, outside of Los Angeles. And Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get to how you got involved in real estate.
Well, I'm 32, married, live here in Riverside. I run a local business here in Riverside. Own a telemarketing company. We sell tools and supplies, basically around the country. That's what I do for a living. Got into real estate because over the last couple of years, we picked up a couple rental properties. Nothing major, but just bought some property and have some renters. And I'm just one of those people that's always trying to learn how to do stuff. So I was just, I'm always researching real estate and studying things. And somehow I tripped across your videos, and that's kind of what got me the bug in the beginning. I was watching them, and I was like, I could do this in my spare time. So I just kind of jumped on it from there. I got a buddy that works with me in the telemarketing business who's a top producer salesman, real cool guy. We're good friends, him and his girl, and me and my girl. So I told him, I says, hey, I go, we should just put our money together and buy some Bandit signs and some yellow letters, and I go, we could do this easy. And that's just how it all came about.
Okay.
Literally had no clue about it.
Well, Chris reached out to me asking me about my courses and training. That was back on December 20th. I just went through my text dialogue on his number, and he asked me about it, and I didn't hear from him again until yesterday. And so, Chris, if you'll just tell us, uh, when you just said you bought Bandit Signs. If you're similar to me, if you didn't get anything else out the training, and of course you're a telemarketer, so you understand the value of marketing. Tell us about how, from when you bought the Bandit Signs, you got your direct mail campaign in place, and what happened from there as far as getting to this deal with this particular property owner.
Well, I think I texted you December 20th, and then after that, it was, the holidays and whatnot. So on January 4th was the first time we went out and we put up the bandit signs. I bought, I think it was 300 of them up front, so we put them out. We sat there, we had the Google Voice line set up, ready to roll. And to my surprise, didn't get that many calls. So it kind of took the wind out of me the first week. I was just like, oh no, like no one's calling. I mean, we got some calls, but it wasn't, as much as I thought it was going to be. So I told my friend, I said, we just got to stay consistent with it and maybe do some other types of marketing. So I looked into the yellow letters. I found a company that would just, do them, mail them, send them the whole 9 yards. Don't even got to touch them for about $1 a piece, right? So I said, we'll start with 1,000. We sent out the yellow letters, and then this is about January 15th or so, before the letters hit. So the first 2 weeks, we were literally just sitting there antsy, like, God, I need a deal. I want to talk to somebody, and we were talking to a few people, but nothing, nobody that was serious. Once the letters hit, then I started getting quite a few calls. Made some offers, just nothing crazy. No, nobody was really motivated, but finally we got the first deal with a seller that was extremely motivated because basically he had his sister owned a property that she had bought like in 1985, brand new. A couple years later, she was going to lose it to a foreclosure. He bought it and been renting it back to her all this time. Here we are now, 30 years later, the property's paid off, and I guess she's moved in 2 or 3 roommates, and nobody's paying rent. And he was just so stressed out. I mean, I really felt bad for the guy. He was an older guy. I think he was like 65 or something like that, but he was just, super stressed about wanting to unload this place. And I did just like you said, when I talked to him, I asked him, if he had any idea what he thought the property was worth. He said, yeah, probably about 150, 160. I asked him what the kind of condition the property was in, blah blah blah. I was doing my math, as I was talking to him on the phone, just on the initial phone call, and I said, so if I could pay you cash, buy it as is, close quick. What's the least you'd take? Just like
All
you said,
right.
right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, go ahead, man.
So he came back and he goes, well, maybe 125. And so I just kind of sat there like, I says, I don't think I can do that. I says I might be a player around 107, 108, somewhere in there. And then he sat there and kind of went, him and Han. So I have a lot of experience dealing with people on the phone because, like I said, we run a telemarketing company. So I says, Dan, I go, just let's put the money on the back burner for a second. Let's get to know each other. I said, you a sports guy? You like football, basketball? What's your thing? Come to find out, he's a Laker fan. So am I. I'm in California, right? So, and I don't want to hear
Yeah.
nothing about the Lakers either, all right? But
Whew.
so.
Horrible, horrible. I'm a Laker. Of course, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. We don't have an NBA team, so you have to choose somebody. And I'm a Laker fan also, so it's
Okay,
oh
okay,
my
cool.
God, it's pitiful.
See, I knew I liked you.
But
So,
yeah.
so I told the seller, I says, now that I know you're a Laker fan, maybe I could give you some more money. We started laughing, joking, bullshitting, excuse my language. And so he says, I think we can do the 107, Chris. He goes, but let me talk to my wife, and then I'll call you tomorrow. I says, okay, that's fine. Me and my wife were actually on our way to Vegas the next morning for her 35th birthday. We had a big party going on out there and whatnot. So the next day we're in Vegas. I get the call. He says, yeah, I talked to the wife. She said we're good to go on 107. And at this point, I hadn't even seen the property yet. Just what I seen on literally on Zillow. Like no pictures of the inside or nothing. I was just going by what he told me the condition was. So at that point, I'm scrambling. I'm like, okay, I got a deal, but I don't have a contract. I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to fill out the contract. So, I text you, I got the free contract, and I'm literally in my car, excuse me, in my hotel, just looking at the contract, trying to figure out how to fill this thing out. And I'm like watching your other video of how to fill it out. And I'm like just so confused, but I'm just like, well, all right, I'm just going to do this by hand. So I just wrote it all by hand, send it to him in an email. Well, he calls me out there and he says, hey, I got your email, but he didn't have a printer. He goes, I can't print this thing. He goes, can't you just have it sign it electronically somehow? I says, no, I'm not set up to do that. Why don't you just go to the UPS store and print it out? So he's like, well, I don't even know where one's at. So I'm over here in Vegas in my hotel. I'm like Googling the nearest UPS store, trying to get him directions to go down there. The whole thing was scrambled. But it all worked out. He ended up going to the UPS store. They printed it out for him. He signed it. They emailed it back to me. So boom, we got the contract in place.
So you did it for 102, 10, what was the price?
Well, we initially contracted it at 107.
Okay,
That's
go
what
ahead. Go ahead.
okay.
All
So
right.
then, the next day or whatever, I get back from Vegas. Me and my buddy go up and see the property. To our surprise, it was actually like in pretty good condition. It just needed like minor rehab, just all cosmetic stuff. There's just a bunch of roommates. They're using it kind of like a crash pad. So it was just real dirty,
Hmm.
but property overall was pretty nice. But I just couldn't help it. The salesman in me wanted to call him back and just see if I could get it lower. So I just says, man, Dan, come on, you're one Laker guy to another. You're going to do me like that? I says, man, I didn't know it was that rough talking about
Oh, you ain't doing like that, did you? Oh, oh,
so
that's good one. Go.
I just told him, I says, I says, I gave you my word, we got a deal. I said, but I just want to just be upfront honest with you. You got any wiggle room on this thing? I said, my partner's giving me a lot of grief over this. I think we got to get it a little bit cheaper. So we kind of went back and forth for a minute. And then actually, it's almost the same scenario. He says, let me talk to my wife. And so later I get home and I get a text message. And he says, my wife says, we'll do 103, right? I think I had told him like 101 or something like that. So I text him back. I said, why don't we call it 1025 and I'll get you a free Laker cup and I'll buy your wife a Target gift card so she can get out your hair for a while. He texts me back a smiley face. He says, my wife says deal. All through text message.
Yeah. All right.
So
Yeah.
at that point, that's when the panic set in because I'm like, I don't have any buyers. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to open escrow. I don't know any of this stuff. So now I'm back on your videos, watching everything, trying to figure it out. And I always hear you say it's not hard to give away money. And man, you weren't lying.
All right. So what did you do?
Well, um, I was looking on in my local market for like real estate investment clubs, and there happened to be one at the Mission Inn, which is here in Riverside. And it just so happened to be the very next day. This was like on a Tuesday. So on Wednesday, I says, I'm just gonna go to this real estate club, see if I can meet some rehabbers and just exchange some info, whatever. And I have a friend of mine that's an agent. I used him when I bought my personal residence and my rental property. So I was thinking maybe he might know somebody. So I kind of reached out to him a little bit. He didn't really have anybody in mind, but he's gonna, look around for me. And make a long story short, I actually met a couple people at the real estate investment club.
Hmm.
And the very next day, I sent them pictures and whatnot, and I had an offer right away for 112. And so my initial instinct was like, all right, cool, got an offer, let me get in and get out. But I just kind of had a feeling that this property was like a home run. I just thought I could get more. But I was
Hmm.
also feeling, I felt like I was playing with fire. I didn't want to like pass up a deal to try to be greedy. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I just kept it very honest with everybody. I just told the guy, I says, look, if I can't move it in a week, I'm going to come straight to you, but I think I can get more for it. So, and I was just trying to see where he was at. Reached out to another guy that I met and he said, yeah, I can't even beat the 112. So I said, all right, no problem. So I actually called my wife and I was telling her, I go, should I just take this 112 and just go on to the next deal? I mean, we did this fast. And she goes, well, I think you should just give it a little bit more time. So I said, all right. So I went back to some of your videos. I was watching more stuff. And I think in one of your videos, you talk about like listing properties on Craigslist. So I just
Hmm.
did it very simple. I took one picture of the property. I just put for the headline, I put serious cash buyers only. And then I just put deep discounted property, worth 195,000, asking 128 or best offer. And my phone rang in 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes. I
Wow.
get this guy calls me. Yeah, and what's crazy is no one else has called me
What
but
what
him.
what price did you put on it?
I put it at 128 or best offer is what I put.
Okay. All right. All right.
So the guy calls me and he tells me right off the bat. He says, I I do about 5 or 6 flips a month. I'm a rehabber, blah blah blah. I have all these connections. I'm interested in the property. I want it, but I need to see pictures, yada yada. So what I ended up doing was I sent him the address. I sent him all the pictures I had, about 30 pictures. I also did a video, like you say, of the property. So I
Hmm.
sent him the video link. But he had plenty of stuff to see everything. He called me right back, says, he goes, Chris, I want it. We'll do it. Everything's good to go. I'll open escrow tomorrow. I'll close this thing in 5 days. I'm thinking, this is too good to be true. Like, there's no way. And so I'm also thinking, I don't have a contract with him or
But
nothing. So at
wait
this
a
point,
minute. So
this is all verbal.
just yeah. So so let me ask you. So the date that you placed it on the contract officially at the 102.5 was, do you remember?
Well, I was in Vegas over the weekend. He signed it like on a Sunday. So
Hmm.
I got back in town Monday. I think I posted that Craigslist ad Thursday because on Wednesday I went to that real estate meeting I was
Oh,
telling you
yeah,
about.
correct, correct.
And I had that contract at 107. I hadn't even sent it to an escrow agent or nothing. I just had it. I didn't know what to do with it at first. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
So I didn't even open escrow. But when I was talking to this guy, he says he would do it at 108 or excuse me, 128. And he just says, yeah, I'll do it. We'll open escrow tomorrow. I'll close in 5 days, whatever, whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't even have escrow open on my end. And I'm thinking I need a contract with him. And he tells me, he says, Chris, he goes, we'll use my escrow guy. He goes, I do tons of deals. It's going to be easy, blah, 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 blah. So on my way home, he sends me a text. He says, how about 116? Will you take it? I knew we weren't done yet. You know what I mean? It was too good to be
Yeah.
true on the
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So when he texts me that, I just text back no. That's all I put, no. And I just
Hmm.
waited. It was a long drive home too. I was just like driving, looking at my phone, like, oh, what's gonna happen. So then he says, all right, work with me. And I says, I can come down a little bit. I'll go 124. He texts me back, deal. I'll open escrow tomorrow. So this was like late at night. It was like at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So in the morning, I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what I have to do. Do I have to take this to escrow or what? So the morning he sends me a phone number. He says, this is my escrow guy. Send your contract to him and I'll do my stuff on my side. And so I'm talking to him on the phone at this point. I'm like, well, I need like an E&D from you and, a contract. And he was like laughing at me. He's like, man, I'm going to close this thing in 3 days. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, you're going to get paid. My gut told me he wasn't lying to me. Right. So I was just like,
Yeah.
this isn't typical
Well,
protocol, but
but that's how a cash buyer talks. If you get a guy on the phone and, well, I'm gonna need 30 days, I need to do this or that. A
well,
cash buyer that's dead serious. That's now he's gonna try to haggle with you on the price because that's just the business.
right.
But they're going to talk speed
Move
because,
fast.
as I always say, it is not hard to give away money. He
Yep.
knew he was going to be able to make 50 or 60 grand off the property. He
Hmm.
doesn't want you to show it to anybody else. So that's why he
Well,
was putting up, don't worry about it. Of course you didn't know him or whatever,
right.
but that's the way the tone of the conversation needs to go. 3, 5, 7 days. You know what I'm saying? You know you're
Well,
dealing with someone that's going to make it happen. But go ahead.
you're gonna love this. So when I'm talking to him in that same conversation, he said something to me, and it just rung a bell in my head of hearing your voice on the videos. He says, "Yeah," he goes, "I close this thing in 3 or 4 days." He goes, "As soon as we can get a clear title," and you say that all the time too. So I thought, oh man, this is the real deal. So uh, the next, basically after that it just went really smooth. But I called the escrow guy and I told him, I said, hey, I've actually renegotiated with the seller. The price is 1025 now. And he's like, don't worry, we'll just change it all on our end. And on the contract that I had the seller sign, I never discussed with him what kind of deposit I was going to put, but I just put $10 and I wanted to see if he would say anything. And he didn't even
Yeah.
care, the seller. So the escrow
Yeah.
agent was actually laughing at me. He goes, 10, he's like, I've never seen a $10 one. He goes, man, that's big risk. And we were laughing about it. I thought that was funny though, that he said he's never seen one that low. Cause here in
Wow.
California, I don't know if maybe people pay more or what.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once we had escrow open, the only hiccup we ran into, and it wasn't even a hiccup, but the cash buyer called me and he said, "Hey, Chris," he goes, "the people are still living in the house. Like, we got to get them out before we close." So he goes, "I want this done like now." He goes, "Let's go up there tomorrow, me and you, and just do like a cash for keys thing," because they were kind of like squatters.
Mm. Yeah.
So we go up there, and luckily for us, they were very cooperative. I ended up spending like $1,200 to pay everybody and get them basically like a trailer to haul their stuff out of there. It was really cheap.
Correct.
Everybody was really easy. Got them out, and then we closed the next day like that. Boom, got my check, and the second I walked out of escrows, I text you.
What? Hey, what did? Oh, speaking of the check, let's just show that right quick. I got a question, but let me show that. He said didn't mind me showing the moolah.
Nah, I don't mind.
Yeah, so boom. So there it is. I blew up the actual amount here. This is what he actually texted me down here in the left. We didn't want to put the whole check there because it has some information from whoever account this is on. But yeah, so boom, there it is, guys. You know what I'm saying? 21,500 Bitcoins. My first deal was $2,500. and this guy 21.5. Wow. Some people don't make that in a year. Wow. That's what's happening though.
Yeah.
How did they handle? Sounds like that title, that escrow company is what you all call it out there anyway. They sound like they've never done an assignment. How did you instruct him on that part of it?
Actually, it was the complete opposite. This cash buyer that I'm dealing with, apparently he does, 5 6 deals a month, tons of assignments all the time. So his escrow agent knew exactly what to do. I mean, they were
Okay.
walking me through it. And when he called me down there and he says, come down, I need you to sign. So I said, okay. So I came down there. It was just one paper that I signed, one signature. This whole thing, that's all I did was one signature. And I was
Okay.
like, that's it? And he's like, yeah, that's it. He's like, I already had the buyer sign and then we're just waiting to fund. But yeah, I guess apparently they do assignments all the time. And initially I was kind of nervous because I hear a lot of talk about the double escrow and the assignment. And this is all new to me, but I'm thinking, well, I got a big spread on here. Maybe I'm supposed to do a double escrow so the other guy doesn't see. But I don't know. I just felt like the guy was being, the cash buyer. He wanted to get it done. And he told me, we'll
Yeah.
just do an
Oh yeah.
assignment, it'd be easy. And he wasn't even caring about. But then he's still texting me now, telling me, Chris, get me more deals, the quicker the better. I can't even get enough deals for this guy. So just
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
was a blessing.
That's what I try to tell people is that, well, I don't want the buyer to see what I'm getting, or I don't want the seller to see what I'm getting. The seller's getting what you all agreed upon. You build great rapport with him. He's getting what you agreed upon. He knows
Right.
you're not doing this for free. The buyer is okay with what you making money. He know you're not doing this free. He's begging you for more deals.
Right.
It's just rare you're gonna have people that act like that, especially if it's the buyer. I don't even want to deal with a buyer if he's concerned about how much I'm making. So I
Right.
just try to stress double close. It works, but I don't see the reason for it. It's not
Yeah.
necessary. It's just not
Hmm.
necessary. And as you
Hey,
say, this
because
guy obviously you. But the biggest thing is I've never done a interview. I've had students to do stuff in California, but none of them wanted to come on screen. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to do that. So
no
what? So
problem.
what's next? So what's next for you to move on? I know you got your regular gig. So what's next for you as far as real estate?
Well, the one thing with this first deal was I got so excited and distracted I dropped the ball on the marketing in the middle of it. But I just had 2,000 yellow letters leave yesterday, so I got a couple thousand more going. What we're gonna try to do, me, my wife, and my partner, we're gonna try to like put a system in place to where we're doing, maybe 2 or 3 thousand postcards, a little bit of yellow letters. I got a few of the employees that work for me at my normal business. I'm gonna have them start putting up my bandit signs for me, put them up and take them down
Okay.
because where I'm
Yeah.
at, they get taken down really quickly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our plan is to put a marketing campaign in place that'll produce enough leads to do 3 or 4 deals a month, and just kind
Okay.
of that's our goal.
How did you choose the market, or you just focused on close to where you live?
Yeah, I mean, I know the area I live in is called the Inland Empire. I know the Inland Empire market pretty well just because I live here and I got a couple rentals, and I'm just always researching. I'm just that kind of guy. But it's kind of funny because the deal I got was in the high desert. That's where my wife's from, and up there, that's like the only place around here where houses are like under 200,000. Like where I live here in Riverside, the medium house range is like 400,000. And I'm still doing marketing here too, but I just had a good feeling about the high desert because properties are so cheap up there. And so right now on my letters, I got about half of them going up there, and the other half are like down here, more in the Inland Empire. We're just kind of, I mean, honestly, Ty, we're just kind of winging it. We're just
I
throwing out the
got you. I
marketing
got you.
and relying on the salesmanship to get the deals. So
Correct. Correct. I could tell you with the bandit signs. If you don't see them in whatever area you're placing them in, normally you're not going to be able to get enough life out of them. So you may have to get outside of your comfort zone a little bit and go into, if you're going to use those in heavy numbers, and see where they are getting life. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I know you want to be in areas where there's no competition, but Bandit signs are nothing new. Most of the guys that have used them in your market, they've used them for a long time. They know where they can get away with them. So that's but obviously you're a telemarketer, so you know how to get the phone ringing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's powerful, man. So man, yeah, I really appreciate you spending this time with us, man. Just in I guess, a last word. What would you like to share with those that are thinking about it, they're sputtering around or whatever about getting into the business?
Well, for if there's anybody out there listening to this that's thinking they want to do it or hesitant, my advice would be just to just get out there and do it. Because when we first had this idea, my initial thought was, okay, I need to get all this stuff ready to go, and we actually did get a website, we bought business cards, all kinds of things that aren't, that we need but we don't need yet.
No, you don't.
We,
That don't prevent you from doing a deal. Those are add-ons.
right. But I know a lot of people are out there, they get analysis paralysis. I would say just jump in and just go for it. But once you start talking to people, I mean, it's really easy. The people that call are more nervous than you are. You know what I mean? And I just want to say for the record, Ty, very, very much appreciate you and what you're doing with all the free information you put out there.
No problem at all, man. Payment with you doing this interview is enough for me. Again,
Thank you.
it's going to help others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To understand that it's real. It's real in
Yeah.
California. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
real in California. I got 21,000 reasons to show you.
21 big ones, 21 five big ones.
Yeah.
But really appreciate it, man. And I guess with everyone, obviously, I have the free videos again. I'm gonna go back through that stuff again right quick. But um, you see the real proof of funds, um, the private money list, flipthisbuilding.com, the coaching. You see my handles on Instagram. You want a copy of the free contract? There you go. But what else we got here? And the 200 free videos, and subscribe to my channel. So again, we really appreciate Chris sharing his story with us. I hope it helps people that are trying to get in the biz. This stuff is real, man. I'm no smarter than any of you all. Chris is probably smarter than me, but you just have to take action. Don't feel like you have to know everything. This guy, man, he fumbled through it basically. You know what I'm saying? Watching
Literally.
videos, didn't even know how to fill out the contract, and just started watching my videos on the buyer side and the seller side. And he used that one-page contract that I have to do the deal. I guess the escrow company was okay with it, right?
Yeah. Totally okay
Okay.
with it.
What did you even do a contract with the buyer?
No.
I've done those too. So he called you to come down and sign I guess, an assignment of contract. That's all
Yep.
the escrow need to have on file to make it a legitimate for them. So boom, assignments are legal, people. I don't care where you are. You have
Yep.
some small little technicalities on real estate laws in different states, but assignment of contract is legal. All contracts are assignable unless the contract states that it's not. It's that simple.
That
But
was my
again,
favorite part. Right on the
yeah.
check, it said assignment fee.
All right, man. But I appreciate it, man, and I'll be
Yes,
hearing
sir.
from you, man. And hey, keep getting it.
Yep, will do.
All right, and see you all on the flip side. Thanks.